Welcome to Rooted and Radiant, a podcast dedicated to women's health and women's concerns with women's voices. Rooted and Radiant, hosted by Sarah Stagg with co-host Jessica Parker.
Hello and welcome to Rooted and Radiant. This is a podcast for women, about women, by women. We talk a little bit about everything that has to do with what it is to live as a woman in today's society. And today we are going to focus on the ladies from Ashley County Go Red. First of all, I am Sarah Stagg. I'm the host. Jessica Parker of Heaven Bound, Earth Sown, Skincare, and Life Coaching. That's a mouthful, y'all.
It is.
She is a co-host with me. We are business partners at the Namaste Studios. So I work for the News Observer that provides this podcast, but I also have the yoga studio, Long Dog Yoga and Wellness, that is in conjunction with her skincare and life coaching. That's who we are. This is Linda McDougald of the Ashley County Go Red, and this is Loretta Stell. And welcome to this visit, to this discussion. We are going to really focus in on hypertension. We're going to talk about high blood pressure, what that is, what causes it. And I'm excited because we have the two different approaches. We have holistic approach and the alternative medical approach. And so it's going to get good and interesting, and you are going to learn a lot of the different viewpoints on the one subject. So let's get ready. So tell me, who wants to tell me what Ashley County Go Red is? When it formed, what its purpose is?
Well, Ashley County Go Red started, Loretta and I were actually working in ICU. And we were so concerned that women were coming in, young women, severe hypertension, with arrhythmias, hearts running away, and they blame everything on anxiety. I'm just stressed and everything. And then we're looking up, no, they're having heart attacks. Mm-hmm. They're having elevation. It's true. We could not get it across that is the number one killer. We kept being told, well, they thought it was breast cancer, which we always want you checked for all that. But Loretta and I, we discussed that because we got three women right in front of us, and they still do not believe, did they, Loretta? Mm-hmm. They said to our faces, it can't be my heart. Mm-hmm. It can't be. So we realized how many people are not educated on, and they should be prepared. So Loretta actually went to American Heart, and
we found the Go Red organization.
Oh, mm-hmm. Yes.
Mm-hmm. And so we...
And their Go Red, and that was ours started in 2008, but they had seen the missed women since 2004. Men were being treated and women were being sent home with their different symptoms. They're just anxious, they have children, and then they were coming back with big heart events. So American Heart got on board, and they are still stressing, and I don't like the numbers because 1 in 3 are still dying of heart disease.
Yeah, so
1 in 3. I was hoping it'd be 1 in 10.
It's like y'all are fighting a war that will never be won.
That's right.
This information needs to be disseminated over and over and over again, and hopefully we can get that number from 1 in 3 to 1 in 6 to 1. I mean,
that's what
so you mentioned that the symptoms are different. In a female, how does high blood pressure present as opposed to in a male?
Well, it's more the symptoms of the heart attack that are different.
Okay.
They may have just some neck pain, jaw pain, whereas a man usually presents with the pain that goes down the left arm, the crushing chest pain. A woman may have back pain. We literally had a lady come in one time because her pinky had excruciating pain. The woman was having a heart attack.
Wow.
But it was, and you don't think that, but it's like, it's just different.
Yeah.
It really, really is.
And maybe there's a little bit of, and maybe this is where you can answer, maybe there's a little bit of, I don't want to admit that I'm having a heart attack. Is there some mental to all this, do you think?
As we're mamas, we're mamas, we are the superwoman.
Yeah.
We don't have those issues. And especially, I think it's harder for someone who we take care of ourselves. Like if it's a woman that truly is taking care of herself and she's trying to be healthy, and it is so easy for us, and we put ourselves on the back burner as women.
Yes.
So it's so easy for us to say,
Exactly.
that's not what that is. I had a lady, and I think I've told you this before, and we traveled all over the country, and we were in an RV park, and her husband was also a rig welder. And she just, one day I noticed she went home and she didn't, she wasn't there for a while. And she came back and she had just been having stomach issues, diarrhea, and gas, bloating, and ended up having a heart attack.
Yes.
But she ate healthy, she cooked, she never thought that it would be her. And I think even as someone who has been a nurse for 15 years and takes care of myself, if you came to me or if I came to the hospital, that would be the last thing that I would tell you could be a possibility,
Right.
even with my knowledge. So I think women don't like to admit that could even be a possibility.
So one of the things that Go Red does, Ashley County Go Red does, and we'll talk more about it in a moment, is y'all do free health screenings. Now, I've been back home since 2017. Y'all started that in 2008. So these have been going on my whole time back. And just this year did I go and get a free health screening because I didn't want to know.
Yes.
I didn't, what if? What if my readings are bad and here I'm the yoga instructor and the spin instructor, I do all the things and I eat, but what I know that it can still be bad and what if, but thank God they were good. So I actually went this year. I went to the one down at Timberline Federal Credit Union and my numbers were good. They were very good. They even gave me a sticker. And so I was very excited about that. But for almost 9 years now, that's been something that I was dragging my feet on because I didn't want to know. But I think we need to know. We need to know. We need to just go sit down, get the readings. It's free. Just get it done. So I said we talk a little bit more about what those free health screenings. They're already done for this year. But tell me what people can expect when it comes back around. What do you do in those screenings?
On our screens, we check your blood pressure, we check your glucose, we check your cholesterol. If those are elevated, we may say, hey, you may need to go check it with your doctor. We want the cholesterols under 200. They're not fasting cholesterols. So since they're not, we just want them under 200 for a total. It's a total cholesterol measure. And then your blood pressures, anything 140 over 80. You probably need to, start checking with your doctor, just to see, maybe you need medicine, maybe it's a lifestyle change, like you said, that can correct that.
Yeah, and so what Loretta was referring to there, we had talked a little bit before we started taping, we started this discussion. And as I mentioned, we have two viewpoints here. So we have the medical field and we have holistic. And so from the holistic viewpoint, tell me about the blood pressure numbers.
So I agree with, as we age, we're going to see an increase in blood pressure.
That's just
And
natural.
It's a natural process that our body will do. However, there is a lot of people that are kind of below that age that we do see an increase in their blood pressure. And it is lifestyle. And I will say this just from someone that did step away from the medical field, a lot of it is patient accountability. And I don't think we see a lot of accountability in society very much, and even towards our own health. And so where my side, I want to get to the root cause, and that's wherever you're at, more people are going to go to the doctor if they're wanting a Band-Aid. And I don't say that to take away from what a doctor does.
Because that's a beautiful thing that we have.
Yes, it saves a lot of lives,
Right.
like it does. People that are going to come to me are going to want to fix the root cause. They're going to want nutrition coaching. They're going to want a natural approach versus a medical approach to that. So we're going to look at, do you smoke? What does your lifestyle look like? Your nervous system. You've got, that is, most women that are going to come to me is going to be their nervous system. It is going to be regulating that anxiety, it's going to be actually getting into movement and their health. So on that root cause versus, hey, I have high blood pressure, what can you give me to just lower it? And then let me go on and live the same lifestyle without that change. So
And back to those screenings, something that I wasn't warned about was it does include a little needle poke. I can get tattoos all day long, but something about that needle poke, so I don't want y'all to go next year and figure that out and then come at me with you didn't warn me about that. It lasts a split second, and that's probably the first time I've ever had my I think that was the glucose check, the little finger prick. That's the first time I've had my glucose checked. It was fine. Y'all just go do it. Just go do it next year when you see the Go Red signs go up and it comes around February every year they do it. Just go. I can't say that enough. Just go. So hypertension, that's the medical word for it, and then blood pressure is the normal everyday word for it, and that has become so normal to hear, blood pressure, blood pressure. What is blood pressure? What is it?
Your blood pressure is the measure of the amount of pressure that's in your arteries when your heart's pumping. That's the systolic number. That's when your heart actually contracts or when it's at work. That bottom number is called the diastolic number, and that's the in-between when the heart's at rest and it's filling again so that it can pump the blood back out to your body.
So the top number is how hard the heart has to pump to get the blood to all the different parts of the body. And the bottom number is when the heart is taking in the blood and
getting ready to
pump again. So good. I think there's so much about the body that we don't understand, and it's become just mainstream, like I said. So blood pressure, I hear people say, well, I got the high blood. Do you really know what you're saying? Do you really know? So high blood pressure is your heart is having to work harder than it's designed to work.
And it's a pump.
And it's a pump.
You keep working it too hard and it will
It will
start
give out.
again to have problems.
That's right.
And, I feel like the difference between what you're doing and what us, we need what you're doing. We've been saying that for years. Okay, but when Loretta and I started this, we're talking about acute.
yes,
Okay.
we're already
What
there.
you're talking about, no, we have women, they're going to die. It's too late. They're going to damage their heart and they're 45. Or the blood pressure has been so high since their 30s, they are going to have a stroke. And most of us, because we know community, we had their mother in their 50s had a stroke. Now they have a young daughter and they're kind of pushing her off to the side like, oh, well, we'll just watch her blood pressure. And us that had the mother who had a stroke, we're like, don't just watch her. She does need medication. She does need immediate lifestyle changes because she is going to have a stroke.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's
You know what I mean?
Yes.
You're doing this and we have time.
Yes,
time.
that's a
We
good
have
point.
time to help people.
That's a good point.
But Loretta and I are on the side where we've got a woman saying, I'm just too tired. I've been sick at my stomach for a few days. I'm too embarrassed to go to the emergency room. They're going to think I'm just a crazy woman. Then all of a sudden they find her passed out in her home and they're rushing her to us. While we're working on her, we're saying, someone, do you have a story? What's the story? And then a family member comes in. We want it never to get like that.
Yes.
That's
yes.
how Go Red started. And I feel like, to me, what they're still doing and what we started, we have women now, they stand up and say, nope, I want you to listen to my heart. And they don't mean the doctor come in and say, oh, you sound good. Nope, they all know now they have valves. 1, 2, all of them.
Yes.
And we have checked in the screenings, literally, and we did the stethoscopes to let the kids learn, the new students.
Because the students.
And we have them listen to all their valves. And I don't know how many people have said, why are you listening right here? And I said, well, that's your mitral valve. It's very important. And they go, I've never had a doctor listen there. I said, you have a cardiologist? He's never listened there. So we're trying to educate.
Yes.
So the women, they just turn around and now say, no,
You
I
listen to
want you
all
all
four.
checked out, and I may need an echo. And the doctor looks at them, where'd you learn that? go red.
And I think,
Heard a woman had a heart attack and she was 42.
Yeah.
And the diabetic lady that got stuck, she was a bank employee. And now she was really she's a bad diabetic. But she learned from high consistent numbers at the bank
Wow.
and going to
What a
the
legacy.
doctor after that.
Y'all created.
Yeah,
a
so
legacy.
that to me, when we hear that back and she knows that now she's 10 times more at risk to have a heart attack,
Uh-huh.
she doesn't play with any pressure in her chest, and women can have it from here to here mostly. Or down the
Yes.
right arm, totally opposite. Sick at stomach, just tired, can't walk upstairs anymore. They go now.
Yeah.
yes.
So to me, that makes us feel better. When
Yeah.
people stop us in
Making a
town and
difference.
say, yeah,
No, the
So-
education, I agree with that. That is
and it's
so-
urgent. It's urgent.
Yes, it's not someone that you're gonna see present is not somebody that you can say, well, let's get to the root cause of this.
No.
It's life or
Let's
death.
save your life.
I think we're very much on the same team because
Yeah,
I love the
absolutely.
breathing for sure because I know what that does. It's a vagal thing. And we've lowered heart rates before just by bearing down and having to breathe.
Yes.
You were sitting there watching it go to a slower rate.
Yeah.
And I always talk about yoga and the different things, and they have a misconception of what y'all do.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
And they think, oh, well, I'm not 20, I can't do that anymore. And I go, oh, no,
Yeah.
they'll modify for you.
That's right. So what Linda's talking about with the breath, and the nurses can watch your statistics go down on the machine. If you will breathe in through the nose and think about your lungs getting as big as they can get. I coach to breathe to the outer edges of the lungs. See if you can feel those outer edges. And then on the exhale through the mouth, just let the air seep out. And then just breathe like that for a few moments. You can lower your heart rate. It's through. There's box breathing where you breathe for 6 counts. You imagine that you're going across the top of a box. You breathe down the side. You breathe over and you breathe back up, and you do that. That will lower your heart rate right there. And it's connected to the vagus nerve.
Oh, yes, it is.
That vagus nerve is so important. It starts in the brain and then branches out throughout the body. And there are different ways that we coach at the yoga studio on how to manipulate the vagus nerve and get your body to get out of that overstimulated, overbusy, just that state that the world encourages us to be in,
Yes.
either through our phones or our computer screens or, our bosses or whatever, those stimuli that are pushing us to just keep going. We need to take moments to sit still, meditate, breathe, and it makes this big difference. So over the course of since 2008, I can't do the math right off the top of my head, however many years that is, I'm sure you've had some stories to tell. So are there any that you can think of successes? I know you like to talk about Brian Holt of
Oh,
Holt
well.
Auto.
Brian Holt and Tim Toller are my two poster children that run from me. Always have at First National Bank. And I can just think of one, I have a special picture. Indy always pops it up on the Go Red on the day we monitor. And they were too busy. They came into the bank. Brian's running upstairs to do paper, and Tim's on his, well, I can't today, Miss Linda, I can't. They're both, I said, no, you have to. And we're going to put you in front of all this line. And they're so funny. They knew I would and put them right in front of the line, and so they both got, and their numbers were horrible.
Uh-huh.
And it was so sweet. Brian said, well, I better take a picture of mine and send them to my doctor. Tim says, well, I'll take a picture. And so they text me back. He said, well, we have doctor appointments this afternoon, and because I love them. I need them around. And they both, those stay on top of their health. They're educated. They both have real serious family history, so they know I won't let them pass. No.
Yeah.
Tim's died real young. Eddie has had heart problems and different things in the heart history, and So I love that people talk about it. I love that y'all are having this today. Because that was one of our first goals, was let's just get conversation and tell them the truth.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let's let them make that decision,
Yeah.
to me.
And I love what y'all are doing because, and go through the rundown of all the things that Go Red does. There's a jump rope in the little kid level. I mean, we're educating from bottom to top, and that's great. We need to start training our children so that they are living a lifestyle of heart friendly. So let's talk about what all the activities that Go Red hosts throughout the year.
We provide jump ropes for Jump Rope for Heart here in Crossit, and it's Coach Derek Rogers.
Does a great
He
job.
does a wonderful job.
And that's like a little jump rope contest.
He teaches them all, and we bought, and it was from a disability group. They do the beads. We love that group. They made our beaded ropes.
Oh, yeah.
And Derek loved them. He said, these are awesome. And they're a little slower getting them, but it's people with disability put the beads together, and so we got
That's great.
those. We have taken them to Crossit, Hamburg, and Portland. But Derek actually does like the jump rope for heart. He lets everybody learn to jump, and then he starts the contest, and it'll get it down to just a few groups. And then we give the winners, we buy little medallions and all the groups that win. But they do really good.
But he also teaches them to check their pulse.
Yes.
The kids.
He teaches the
That's
kids
wonderful.
how to check their pulse. So it's like they're learning, about health as well as their jump rope.
Yeah.
And it's a pump, and how important it is
Yeah.
to take care of our pumps.
Yes.
Yes. And we have also given out, before we jump rope for heart, we used to get from American Heart, I loved it. It was little kids' stories, and they came in a little card, and it's like, I'm jumping for, and it was a kid that had a genetic disability and all,
yeah.
that he wished he could jump, but he can't, because his heart's not healthy and stuff. And it really, the kids were like, well, yeah, and they don't just jump, they have to do all these different, really, things like
Yeah,
that.
That's
So it gets,
so neat.
and it
Get
gets
the
a
heart rate
lot of them moving that don't move.
Which is something that we talk about a lot, is that need for us to start training at the younger level, at the kid level, that we need to be aware of things like feelings and when we get overwhelmed, we need to start teaching our kids how to eat, not how to physically get it to the mouth, but
What they need.
need to
Yes.
eat.
Right.
And how to fuel the body instead of feed the face. I mean, we say that a lot. So I think you can appreciate definitely what they do with the lower levels.
Oh,
the
absolutely,
kids.
yes. And like you said, we're both on the same team.
Oh, exactly.
Hitting it from a different direction.
Yeah,
And-
we're emergent. This is an emergency.
Yes.
This is an emergency.
Yeah.
And my dad died of a heart attack, so that was what tremendously, it runs in my family. And so that is where I approach my health on a preventative side now. Like, I know that this is an issue.
Yes.
So I'm I'm hyper aware of it. Even with my daughter, it runs from her dad's side, and then she gets it from my side. So I'm super aware of what she eats, of how much she moves, even as a 16-year-old, because like you said, that pump wears out. And so it's like, yeah, when you can get those babies that young to be that aware, then maybe when they're 20, I remember when we were jumping, and it clicks.
It really does, and they love being a part. Derek doesn't have, and the parents get into it. They all come and watch. So see, we're getting the word out, because we get to share a little and then be there and why they're doing it. Derek he shares about that, and the kids are really into it. He's never had, that little whole thing is jumping when they're over there. And those beaded ones are loud,
Yeah.
and they're just fun.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and
It
I'm
makes an
also,
impression.
like, just to start teaching our kids, mamas, teach your kids at a young age. The body isn't just a body, it's a vessel. This is designed to do the work of the Father. And if you're not taking care of it, it just can't do the work as long as it's designed to do the work. It is that connected to something bigger than what we are. It is that connected. So mamas, teach your babies. take care of their body. And it goes into diet as well. Ooh, I said the D word. It goes into the way of eating as well. Don't put processed foods on their plate. Teach them how to choose whole foods, the proteins, the fruits, the vegetables. I think we say that so much. I mean, it is that simple. Like, people want to make
But
it.
it's your fuel.
It
And you're
is your
choosing your
fuel,
correct
yes.
fuel, what you put in your car.
We don't
it
put
will not
sugar in
run
our
out.
gas tank of our
No.
car.
No.
You know, why are we putting things in our gas tank, that the body that don't belong?
Yes.
What else does Go Red do? We've talked about the health screenings. What time do they happen every year? What month?
They happen in February.
Mhm.
It's usually the first Friday. That's National Go Red Day, and that's why we do them on it.
And around the Crossett area and the Hamburg area, where are those installations?
We have them at the ACMC lobby.
The hospital.
We have them at Commercial Capital,
Mhm.
at Century Next, Timberline. This year we had one at the EC Center.
Yes.
And then we have one in Hamburg at Southern Bancorp.
And what's the logistics behind that? And I ask that because somebody watching may want to start this in their community. And so when you set up the health screenings, you reach out to the different sites and just start from there and tell them what you want to do. And then you find, are there members of Ashley County Go Red, or do y'all simply use nurses from the area?
Actually, the UAMS students here in Crossett, the
Okay.
LPN nursing students,
Yeah.
they have helped us with the health fairs for years. They come, and without them, we wouldn't have
Yeah.
the manpower to do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
But each site has to have a working RN
Okay.
that understands the heart and that has a stethoscope, because I know last year I heard something I've never heard in my whole nursing career, and I was letting the girls listen, and one of them listened. They're learning their valves, and I said, well, I've just listened so long that I hear that thing. She said, well, I need you to listen right here, little man. And he was laughing. I said, why? And he said, I'm going to a cardiologist next week for that. And I said, oh, well, good. Thank you for letting us listen. And his mitral valve sounded like, burp, 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 a little dog barking. She's like, that's not correct, is it, Miss Linda? I said, no, it's not. And how are you feeling and all? And he said, well, I've been sluggish, but, no acute right now. And so I thought it was wonderful, though, that he came in he'd been to all this cardiology stuff, and he came in to have our little screening. He said, I thought I might need to do that to stay on top of things.
Yeah.
And he said, well, I'm glad I got to share my bark, or whatever they call it.
Whatever's
He said, I think it's going to have to be repaired. And I said, I think so. Probably a new one. Yes.
Yeah.
But, and I've seen him, he's had open heart. So that's been wonderful. But I thought, you'd be surprised at how many, but those girls probably will never hear that.
No.
But it makes them listen.
Yes. Yeah,
Yes,
so
they don't just go.
all different kinds of people are learning from what y'all do. Those on the giving side and those on the receiving side, kids, adults, it's just a really good thing. So you'll also do the Go Red Gala, and that's a big deal every year. Tell me about that gala.
This will be our 16th this year that we'll be having, but we have a speaker. We try to find someone that will come and talk about women's heart health or hypertension or something along those lines.
Then she's just giving us our time cue.
Oh, okay. And then we'll have the Battle of the Bags set up there. Battle of the Bags was formed by Miss Phyllis Ross in honor of her daughter Leanne.
So I think that's a good time to stop. We have to take a little break for our sponsor. So we'll take that break, and then when we come back, we're going to talk about the Battle of the Bags and why that is so important. And we're going to tell you the story of a lady named Leanne.
If you fell in the yard and felt something jar, call Hill Chiropractic. She's fantastic. If you sneeze and feel a crack, can't stand up, oh, my back. Call Dr. Hill. You'll be thrilled. If you've been in a wreck, now you can't turn your neck. Can Dr. Hill come up with a plan? Hill, yeah, she can. Hill Chiropractic, changing lives, one spine at a time.
Okay, welcome back to Rooted and Radiant. We have the ladies from the Ashley County Go Red. I'm Sarah Stagg, and this is Jessica Parker. And we were talking before the break from our sponsor about the gala that y'all put on every year, and it's connected to Battle of the Bags. And we mentioned we're going to talk about the story of Leanne, and it's an important story to know. So let's pick back up with the gala. It is every year.
It's the last Thursday in February.
The
this
last
year.
Thursday in February.
This year it'll be the 26th.
Mhm.
It's at the MMC. Doors open at 5,
Mhm.
and the banquet starts at 6.
And y'all try to have a speaker every year, you were saying, that talks about what?
About heart health, women's heart health, high blood pressure. Sometimes we have survivors that speak. It kind of tells you their story. We always have survivor videos every year, so that people understand that this happens to just normal, regular people. We also have we call them vendors. They're not selling anything. They're giving information, and that's so that they're usually out front. And that's so that the people in Ashley County know what's available to them, be it a home health service or that a helicopter, the EMS, something along those lines. The diabetic teaching. Every year we have some different people with counselors have come in. I think you came one year.
I did.
Yes.
I did. I've come twice. I was going to come this year, and we have a conflict, but I'm jumping back in next year because it's important. It's important.
But that way they know what's available to them, in the area.
Yes.
And then, of course, there's the Battle of the Bags, and that was started by Miss Phyllis Rawls, and it's to honor her daughter Leanne, and I'll let you tell Miss Leanne.
Yeah, what happened to Leanne?
Well, Leanne grew up in Crossett. She was actually a homecoming queen. I forget the year, and when I wear this pin, this is what she looked like, because I always try to tell people, you do not know what a heart attack victim looks like. You do not know. They always blame it where she's overweight and start judging. But what the heart and the electrical part of the heart is, you don't know that. You don't know blood flow to the heart. When I'm looking at y'all right now, I don't know what your blood vessels are doing right now. They could be almost blacked off, and we wouldn't know. But we want to be prepared if they totally occlude, we'd know what to do in this room. So Leanne, the Battle of the Bags was started by her parents, because Battle of the Bags came, I'm going to do this in 2021, after the death of Phyllis Rawls' daughter. And she was 32, and people look at her, beautiful, beautiful. And I will never forget seeing Leanne. I did not know she was having these problems. Seeing her in our Walmart, and she was so tired, so tired. And she said, I'm just having problems with my heart. I'm seeing an electrophysiologist, and I'm having runs of tachycardia. Well, that went into VTAC. VTAC is very serious, where you have to be shocked out of that rhythm, because you're going to go from that rhythm into the heart quivering, and from quivering to shut down. Okay, so that's the reason that her family chose to do Battle of the Bags, to raise money to get AEDs, and they wanted them placed in churches where people are. Because AEDs are made where anybody, you don't have to be trained, it's gonna tell you. You put it on, you turn it on, turn the button on, it shows you how to place the pads. Now, people will say, well, I don't know if they're in that rhythm. The machine does. Even if it says no shock indicated. So Leanne's rhythm would always go into the VTAC first, but it was because of a rhythm problem called long QT. We won't have to go in that, but the heart takes too long to go into the rest, and then it kind of like a little glitch, and then it would send it into an abnormal rhythm. So people say, well, do CPR. Well, no, with that rhythm, it's a shockable rhythm. You have to shock it. You don't know if it'll shock them back. It will shock them into a rhythm we can treat. It's still a bad rhythm, but they're saving lives. And having them where you can go get it and put it on is saving lives.
Yeah.
You know, that's why you see them in airports or different things. So, but Leanne, she wanted to tell her story so much. She's a CrossFit girl, and I'll never forget, we started the first one in Monticello years ago, and she was there and helped me set up. She didn't even know she had a heart problem then. Walked out, beautiful little booty skirt and all that stuff, grew up here. And so it really hurt me to see her. She even bought a red dress for our big special event. And she went into cardiac arrest and was not able to. She went back in and then back in again, and she passed away. So Battle the Bags, our wonderful community, with our, everybody's wanting to be involved, and they have their bag, and it's kind of fun, and people spend their $10, and all the $10 goes toward that they can take the money, and we can buy the AEDs, which are right around $2,000 still, but we buy the box. We have Angela Wilhite and Jennifer Andrews, who are both certified to train when that AED is given. We teach them how to take care of it. So I feel like Leanne's story is still continuing on, just like she said, please tell my story. And we will. We'll continue everywhere I go. This one is also from Gray's Army, a 16-year-old that died suddenly, and he just went to school one day and came home, and his mother didn't know why his heart rate was up so, and he went to the hospital, healthy, played football, and he had an arrest at the hospital, and they were not able to get him back. She does tremendous. She's spoken for us before, but she's amazing. She goes in schools, and these little kids are doing CPR. And like you said, so many of them live with their grandparents. Also, now the high schools, to graduate, you have to know hands-only, at least hands-only CPR. So we've gone in and taught that. We've told Leanne's story. When they see her picture, they can't believe this.
Yeah.
This happened to her. She looked like this. Yes.
Now, hands-only CPR, tell me about that. There's a difference. Sounds like there's a distinction.
You don't have to do the respirations. When someone, you have to do something. What we found was people were going, oh, they call 911, and then they're just looking at them.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, they're scared. Well, I'm not sure, but I'll pump the chest. Okay. Sing a song. We do Staying Alive, because it's about 100 beats a minute. But when we were teaching over at the high school, I was so impressed how many, I think Shauna and I taught several, and that y'all still do. But the kids were awesome, and so many of them said, oh, my grandpa's had a stroke. My grandmother had a heart attack, and I'm so worried. What will I do if something happens? And they were serious. They weren't monkeying around. They were all at a dummy, wanting to do it right.
Yeah.
And they were pumping.
Yeah.
And I thought, they'll do something. They're
Yeah.
going off to college.
Right.
They'll pump with their friends.
Yeah.
They're on the
Oh, yeah.
river.
Yeah.
We talk about all that stuff. And they were real interested in the AEDs. And that it was done for Leanne. That was a legacy for, because her mother's pain, she's put into this.
Yeah.
And it's raised a lot of money. I don't even know how much last year. But all that money goes into AEDs, but also education. We have to buy screening supplies. We have to buy these things to go out and shoot,
Right. Yeah.
So Leanne left a legacy, and I just think it's wonderful that we're able to do this. And also they're doing a lot of new research on long QT. It's very dangerous, and it happens in young women. So she would have said, oh, I just got 2 kids, I'm tired. She said that a lot. And then I'll do kudos out to Dr. Bo, because I always say, if your doctor, your cardiologist doesn't listen, get another one. And Leanne said, I asked her that, and I said, are you listened to? Because you walk in, and she said, I know I'm the only young person usually in the waiting room. And she said, they always listen to me.
Yeah.
And I told Dr. Bo that after she passed away.
And
thank you for that.
So maybe that is a little bit of the reason why these buttons, and I don't know if y'all can see that, it's a heart with a stethoscope, and it says, please listen to me. And y'all give these out for people to wear to the doctor, kind of give them a little courage and reminder to tell your doctor. I mean, and you don't have to be rude, but speak for yourself, advocate for yourself, listen to me, take the
Arkansas
time.
Heart, they wanted to take ours
Yeah.
They did.
And I said,
Yeah.
you can't take ours, we need this.
Yeah.
And so, they came up with a little different design,
Okay.
but they're always Vicki Wingfield, and, she brought someone with her, and she said, these are fabulous.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you don't listen,
Mhm.
it takes 2 weeks to hear back from an echo, but
Yeah.
I could listen to you right now, Loretta could.
Uh-huh.
She could tell you where you had a leaky valve.
Yeah. And I know.
You have an echo later.
For, maybe
We
not
need a
for
meeting.
y'all, because you're in the medical field and you are, but for me, when I go to the doctor, it's overwhelming. It's like all of a sudden, I'm an intelligent person. I'm not the most intelligent person. I can speak, I can think, but I sit down in that doctor's office and all of a sudden, I have lost the gift of gab. I don't advocate for myself. I just assume, okay, he or she has done everything they need to do. I'm getting out of here. And so what's maybe some advice? How do we get over that? What's it called? White coat something. I've heard of a term.
Well, you need to write down always your questions.
So
I have
before we
people call
go,
me every day.
write down our questions.
Yes, write down the questions. You have your ammunition, I call it. You had your blood pressures, because they're just saying, oh, it's a little high today. No, you have a week's worth of
Gotcha.
fluctuation.
So record
You have-
before you even
yes,
go to
yes,
have your
have
blood
your-
pressure tracked. Record.
Yes, you can
Record
go.
your own.
I'm a fine example. Blood pressure is called the silent killer
Mhm.
because you won't feel it.
You don't know.
And I'm feeling great, and I always tell them, go in like the Walmart one.
Uh-huh.
You're feeling great, check your blood pressure. Mine was 170 over 90.
And you were feeling good.
I felt fabulous.
Yeah.
So I said, well, I've got to go on to Brookshire's. So I took it again over there.
Uh-huh.
170 over 94. I'm like,
Okay.
well, hello, Linda.
Yeah.
With all your heart history.
Right,
I
right.
don't want to have heart failure,
Mhm.
okay? And, but I felt like I could go ride my horse, do whatever.
Yeah.
I went in there. I have an extra pill I can take
Uh-huh.
with my medication. I took it and took my pressure, and then I called my cardiologist.
Uh-huh.
And, because my sister has all the really bad heart stuff.
I didn't know that.
And, yeah, she has 11 stents. And my sister is here because of an excellent doctor.
Mhm.
She has really weird symptoms. She may feel really tired, exhausted, and start this funny yawn. She called me about that. Told me her
Interesting.
symptoms. I said, get to the Arkansas Heart ER now.
Yeah.
Now they know that's a symptom. Usually,
So
she got
a-
2 stents.
A funny yawn. Y'all listen to
Yeah.
that. A funny yawn.
But think about it, it was like, I said, are you trying to get breath? And she said, I don't think so. And I said, how many times have you yawned? And she said, well, I'm having to yawn. I said, you shouldn't have to yawn.
Yeah.
And, but again, the ER doctor from her, almost sent her home. They called her cardiologist. He said, no, she's going in. She got 2 stents that day.
Wow.
She has a total of 11. Because he
Mhm.
listens to everything.
Everything. Mhm.
She said, she has
Mhm.
small, but know that you and I are different from a man if he walked in. His coronary arteries look like a tree branch in there, feeding his whole heart.
Okay.
Like so, if you do your cath, you're gonna have RCA, your main, and your branches.
Mhm.
Not a bunch of little things feeding.
Okay.
Well, so when ours block,
Uh-huh. We have fewer to block.
everything's dead below.
Wow.
So you
It's
don't think
different.
a heart attack is serious for a woman?
It is.
They die.
Yeah.
They die, okay? Because if we don't get her thinned and get her to a cath lab,
Mhm.
it's very serious.
Mhm.
So, those signs, and for a diabetic, she's 10 times more likely to have cardiovascular disease or stroke,
Uh-huh.
which nobody wants to have a stroke, which
Right.
is serious. So, that's our heart because we've seen it.
Mhm. Uh-huh.
And we realized women weren't being equipped
Mhm.
with how to stand up for their
Mhm.
health. They really weren't.
Yeah.
And then they need to go to y'all to, I need to
Before
come.
it's even an issue. Before it's even an issue, come to people like us who are going to coach you on how to change your lifestyle. And that sounds like just a big, huge ordeal, and it is, but we're going to teach you how to take it one little bit at a time. And before you know it, you turn around and you have changed your lifestyle. I always say, little by little, a little becomes a lot, and that's sort of how we move. By the time you need these it's late in the game. So
Yes.
get started right now. Do something right now.
Fight or flight, that is something that I don't think us as women realize. We have become a society of fight or flight, and I think that we are so used to being in fight or flight that we don't understand rest and digest.
Right.
And so and you said it's a pump, and if your body is constantly like this all day, and you're fluttering, and that's wearing your body out so much faster. And like you said, us as women, once we're there, we're there. And so that is something. The other day I stood up on my front porch and I had a little bit of a headache and my ear was ringing. When I tell you, I walked inside and I looked at my daughter, and even as a nurse, I said, I think my blood pressure's high. And she said, are you going to check it? I said, I don't even want to. Now I did, and it was fine. But I will say, that even went through my head, like you said about the screening.
I don't want to know.
I don't want to know, because if this is a problem, now I have to address it.
Yes.
And I don't even,
But how do I take care of my problem? Because I'm the nurturer. I'm supposed to take care of all of these. But we need to take care of us.
But I think
It's
they
not
don't realize
selfish.
heart failure, that's something I don't want. I'm an active 72-year-old woman. And now if I lost 10 pounds, my blood pressure would go down. I want to tell people that too. If for every 10 pounds you lose, your pressure will go down.
Wow.
But people won't do it the right way.
Uh-huh.
They're overrun, or they go on some crazy diet.
Right.
Which
I want to emphasize that. Do it the right way. Do it
Yes.
the right way.
That's why I say go to y'all.
Yes.
And because that's the reason I don't stay on weight, because people, they do extreme things.
Uh-huh.
Or they're gonna start running and they're 70.
Right.
Well, why are you doing that?
Mm-mm.
No, slow
No.
walking 5 minutes 3 times a day.
Right. Yes.
Simple things.
Tai Chi. Look into Tai Chi. It's
Yes.
excellent.
See, and see, y'all know, and
Uh-huh.
and know how to move correctly, but, I just wanna make sure before we go, women are still dying of heart disease. And heart disease means it could be a heart attack, the vessel is totally occluding. We have an excellent hospital, they had the heart attack program, and they'll say, well, I wanna go wait in the weight room. I said, no, you go up, you say, I think I'm having a heart attack, you're going back, and then you can tell them everything later. I know
Right.
they'll already have you all done up.
Yeah.
Same way with the stroke, time is muscle. So if you get in under that 3-hour window, you can get clot busters, and if you're strung out, they've got to sequestrable and everything. And the same way with the stroke, if that time, you have the difficulty with your vision, all these, the dizziness, loss of balance, the numbness, and we've had recent ones, young ones. You go to the emergency room, immediately have someone. I tell people to call 911, a lot of the little older people. Go to your front door, unlock the door, sit by your door, because see, they may pass out. They're alone.
Yes.
They don't have anybody to call. We have
Yeah.
shut homebound. I said, no, you take your phone with you, hit 911, open the door, and they will find you, because a lot of our guys have had to break the door down to save people they know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And get them in. So, we're on the emergency side, but it's happening too much to younger people.
Yes, my mother had a stroke in her late 40s, and I was actually I worked at Drew Memorial. I was on the floor up there, and I came home, and at that time my mom and them would keep my daughter throughout the day. And I came home and I was going to take a nap, and I walked in that morning, and she said, she was confused that I was at home. And at first I didn't think nothing about it. And so I went and I got in the bedroom and I'm taking a nap, and she stumbled coming down the hallway. And it woke me up because she fell against the wall.
My goodness.
And I got up and I walked out and I started talking to her, and I noticed she was slurring.
Slurred speech.
And so my sister is as well a nurse. And I remember calling my sister and I was like, I'm talking about, I literally had just took my scrubs off and they were on my floor. I put scrubs right back on and we were right back at the hospital because it was one of those, no, like, I don't know how long that you've been in bed and had, like, we've got to get you there
Right.
now.
Right.
And so, no, I don't think people realize.
No. Well, to me, it's like, we're trying to get to the time is muscle for the heart, because if that is totally occluded and everything below it is not gonna get any blood supply, it's gonna die. It's gonna die. And getting to the hospital, and even people won't call 911, I don't wanna be carried. Well,
Yeah.
I tell them, but they have everything in there. They can go ahead and start the stuff. When they call us, we've already got this running, this running, this running. And so you're ahead of the game. You're so ahead of the game,
Yeah.
and that is so important. Same way with the stroke. If you see someone, they're just writing, and then they just,
Yeah.
and then there's no, okay, someone needs to look at the clock and say that happened at 10:20. You get to the ER, you tell Loretta, she knows the time. But if you go and get grandma up and from her nap,
Yes.
you don't know how long, and now
Right.
grandma can't talk,
You
you can't tell Loretta the time.
Right.
Yes.
And that does matter when we call the
Time
neurologist.
matters.
Yes.
Do you know what is crazy that you say that is I can like 7:28, and I guess it's a nurse brain thing.
Yeah.
I can tell you that at 7:28 is when I walked in and my mom was confused, and that has been
See, that's because we
so-
do that, that's
Yeah.
detail.
that has been so many years ago. We're talking 10 years ago, and to this day, I can tell you when you said that, I can tell you at 7:28 because I immediately looked because I was like, that is so. And she's a diabetic. She had high blood pressure, so I knew her background, and so I was like, that is. And I think a lot of people don't realize that if they do have diabetes, if they have all those underlying issues, don't play around with them being confused.
Never, never. Or just all of a sudden loss of vision.
Yes.
One eye. Sudden loss of vision, one eye. And you're kind of having trouble with your words just getting out, but you can talk.
Yeah.
Little, don't even, they'll say, well, I'll try to smile and did. No, you get somewhere.
Yeah.
Now.
You're not doing your assessment. We are.
Yes.
Yes, because, well, and people, they don't understand, they're worried about development. But I think over my years of nursing, I mean, people died from a stroke.
Yeah.
And see, if you hit this and say you're having a stroke, you're going straight to the CT. They're gonna see, are you
Yeah.
bleeding in the brain, or are you occluding in the brain?
Yes.
That's two different treatments, but they're not gonna take you in there and talk about how you feeling and all this. No.
Right.
And
We can
I mean,
figure it out
they
later.
have and it's they've won a lot of awards. They should, because they I don't care if the ER is full out there. That stroke is coming for them, and that heart attack is, you're all gonna wait, and all that kind of stuff. That arrhythmia like Leanne's, you don't say, we'll shock her later. No, they're all,
Yeah.
they have room just for that. And like you said, women still, they're just, I don't think I'll go. But
Right.
the sweetest one is like your mother, when I told you about your mother,
Yeah.
and
And
Margaret Ann
Yeah.
and someone else invited her.
The ladies at the Methodist Church in
Yes,
Crossett.
and I love them because they brought her to the banquet. Ann Waters, Ann tells our story all over. She's all over Arizona. She was in here working the meal, and she just came to the banquet, really bad diabetic. But no one had ever told her that she has 10 times more likely to have a heart attack or stroke, young woman, pretty. And she heard all of our speakers, and one was diabetic and different things. And she contacted me because she said, I had a massive heart attack. And she said, I would not have gone, she teaches, if I had not heard that woman say all of those symptoms that I was having that woke me up from sleep. And my husband kept saying, you're just nervous, you've had a hard day at school, honey, go back to bed. And she said, the pain, the pressure would not let me go back to bed. And I woke him up and said, you're taking me to the heart. And anyways, the doctor had to tell him over and over, your wife is having a massive heart attack.
We just don't want to believe it.
Yes,
We don't
And
believe
she is a big advocate, and she spoke to thank us at
Yeah.
the banquet and
Yeah.
on a phone call. And her friends that invited her to
Yeah.
go that saved her life.
Yeah.
Yes, and I think when we talk about like urgency, like you said, I think even women, and this is something I pay attention to, just because I pay attention with my dad dying of a heart attack, my mother having a stroke. I am so aware of those little things and pressure headaches. I see a lot of women that would present, well, I've been having a headache for X amount of days, but what we blame it on, we're looking at the computer screen, we're looking, I just need to have my eyes checked. It could be so, like I said, when I stood up the other day and my ear rang and I had a little bit of a headache, I walked in my kitchen and I immediately started asking myself what I'd ate that day. Because I was like, okay, could it really? But I went through everything that I had ate before I checked my blood pressure. Because it was one of the, even though I know how serious it was, I still wanted to be in denial.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This much.
But that you have to help us, y'all have to help us. We need to have stuff at your studio. Because my thing is, I think this is wonderful. I need to start doing it too, because I know what it works. I tell everybody it works. I mean, you don't have to do the statistics, it works. Is we have to though go, because it is serious.
Yes.
Yeah. And now something
You
that
will
we,
die, okay? If you go in this rhythm and I don't,
Uh-huh.
see, if you have a heart attack over an electrical part, it's going to send you into that rhythm,
Yes.
this one. So why do you think the crash cart is there?
Yeah.
Okay, we think she's doing fine, all of a sudden she's talking to us, her eyes roll back in her head.
Yeah.
It's just amazing. They only been in here 5 minutes, and
Yeah.
if they hadn't have been in the hospital and had been at Walmart, they would be here. I think about how many.
Right. Yeah.
And I think, the urgency that you have, it's not that I ever wish this on anybody in the world, trust me, but I can have so much, like, I guess, resonate with you. Being a nurse, I've worked the ER, and it is, once you see it, you can't unsee it, but you almost can't convey. I wish I could give all your urgency to all of y'all, because I'm like, I wish you could see one of her visions, like her working in the ICU and everything. Y'all, she's seen it.
Yeah.
Like, it's real, and it's something you never unsee,
Right.
and it leaves such an impression on you, that this is from their heart. They've watched people, and we're from a small community. That was something, I actually started nursing in Monroe because I worked in the nursery and stuff in Drew and for a while, and when you're in a small community, this is not just a patient with a name.
No, we have them all.
Yes.
This is your neighbor. This is the person that sits 3 rows in front of you at church. And so their urgency and what these ladies are doing is so much bigger in their heart than I think what just the education we're giving out.
Right.
This is truly, I want to save my friend's life.
Yes.
Like, I want to save their daughter. And so go take advantage of everything that they've put their work into.
Yeah.
Because it's serious.
Yeah, and something that we hear at the studio all the time, I don't have time for that. I don't have time. I want to do with that, but I just don't have time. So my question to you is, do you have time to have a heart attack? I mean, that's where we're at. Do you have time to take time right now? Or do you have time to have a heart attack? Maybe even tomorrow, within the next week, or whatever.
And the strokes we've seen just this week.
Yes.
Do you have time to have a stroke and not walk? You're
Right.
worried about your house being clean. Well, you won't be cleaning it.
Right.
Yes.
Right, and it is,
And you won't be chasing your children.
right, right.
We want you, these are preventable things. They're risk factors you can't change. You can't change age. You can't, the black community, heart disease is racist. Now you talk about racism, it's racist because the black community, they fight the blood pressure. We do blood pressures at the high school on young black girls that are thin and jumping around and doing, and they're horrible. And then we try to say,
blood
oh,
pressure.
let me get your history, and all. I go, oh, Lord. And so, but you know what? They've listened, and they go to the doctor. And maybe their daughter won't have the stroke at 50 that they did.
Because they're aware.
That's
It's
right.
education.
And they're
Yeah.
sharing their stories. And
Yeah.
I think the stories have made a big difference
Yes.
over the years.
Yeah.
Because women will say, I remember her saying that.
Yeah. So Ashley County Go Red, look into it. Y'all have a Facebook page.
Yes, ma'am.
Look into it. They also, we didn't get to talk about they do a video contest with the high school kids. They put a video together about heart health. These ladies are on a mission, and like I mentioned earlier, they're fighting a war that will never be won, but they still show up every single day because they care about you. We care about you. So this is Rooted and Radiant. Thank you for joining us again, and I will leave you with this thought. Live rooted, not rushed. Choose intention over urgency, and you will be radiant.
You've been watching Rooted and Radiant, an original presentation of the Ashley News Observer. Rooted and Radiant. To be a participating sponsor of this podcast or any other podcast, contact Sarah Stagg at the Ashley News Observer.